Welcome to the 58th edition of Stump the Pastor. Today's question has been asked by several people for our series, so I've lumped it together in one question from a variety of people. The question is, does the Bible allow for women pastors? Now, I did a quick survey of conservative Christian websites that talk about women pastors. Most had something to the effect that women can be wonderful leaders, great Sunday school teachers for children, but they are never supposed to have authority over men. So their answer is an easy no to this question. And usually they point to biblical examples to prove their point. Several women were prominent in the establishment and leadership of the early church, but it doesn't appear that they had authority over male leadership or co-authority with male leadership. The disciples, the apostles, and Jesus were male, the theory goes, so males are the only ones who can be pastors, popes, bishops, priests, so forth. Of course, the component that is missing from this analysis is the bias in biblical times and into our own time, that men, in general, were deemed more competent, worthy leaders. Women were to be submissive. But when the myth of male superiority over creation was shattered by the women's movement, the LGBTQ movement, and simply current awareness of how our assumptions and bias often overshadow logic, Christianity began to change. Once given the opportunity, and often long before the opportunity was even considered by most men, women have proved that they are gifted, called, inspired, and competent to lead, to preach, to foster vision, and more importantly, don't need anyone's permission to claim their place in the image of God. Their spot has been there from the beginning. Even when Jewish and Christian cultures were firmly controlled by men, women found places to break through, subverting bias. Their voices are included in Scripture. Esther, Mary, and Miriam are examples of women subverting male bias and providing vision and leadership for God's people. Resisting patriarchal norms, their gifts are essential for a mission and a vision of God's inclusive love. So for many Christians and Jews today, the very question of whether women can be spiritual leaders is absurd. They are serving throughout the world with esteem and giftedness. And we are better people where women share their vision and gifts with us. Just remember, the Bible is the story of where we came from and how we understand our foundation. The Bible, with all its assumptions and bias, is not the end of the story. It is the platform from which Christians leap into God's future for us. And we are still discovering the breadth of wonder that is God's grace when humans become aware of how bias has stained our past so that we can now claim the possibility of a better future. See you next time on Stump the Pastor. Well, I hope my question helped stir some thoughts within you. I've got a few of these coming up over the next few weeks, so I look forward to seeing how you respond to them and what they make you think about. Send them to me, whatever you come up with. My email address is on the bottom of your screen. See you next time on Stump the Pastor.